Hi friends, I'm Carrie Ann with Salty and Bright, and in today's Bits and Beams, salty bits and bright beams, in this mini cast, I'd like to talk to you about intimacy with God. Now in Songs of Solomon, or in some Bible translations, it's Songs of Songs, chapter 2, verse 10, it states, "My beloved spake and said unto me, Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away." In this verse, we see the imagery of two lovers. Now remember that as Christians, we are the church, the bride of Christ, and Jesus is the bridegroom. So, in this imagery of two lovers, a husband and a wife, a bride and a groom, here we are being the beloved of God. Not only that, we are to see God as our beloved. Now this word beloved actually means hand in hand. And way back when, people used to think that your heart was actually in your hand. So to be hand in hand is actually to be heart in heart. So the word beloved actually comes from the word ra'ah, which means consuming passion. I have an electric kettle at home. Not only that, it's glass. So when I turn it on and the water is getting hot, I can actually see the bubbles getting more and more aggressive, bubbling bigger and bigger. That's an example of a consuming passion. And this is the passion that God has for us. And that is the passion God wants for us to have for him. I know it sounds a little wild, but stick with me. In Deuteronomy 33:12 it reads, "The beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, and the Lord will cover him all day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders." So one of the benefits of being a beloved of God is that we find protection. Protection all the day long. And not only that, there is safety between his shoulders. Now, when are you between someone's shoulders? When you're in a close embrace. That's the type of intimacy God wants with us. He wants to be in close embrace with us. And so as we soak in, as we get into his presence, as we seek his face, that is when we come into intimacy with him. In Psalm 60 verse 5 it reads, "That thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand and hear me." Here the psalmist is expressing that beloved, being a beloved of God, being the beloved of God, there is deliverance. There is safety and there is deliverance. God calls us to come away with him. God wants us to spend time with him. God wants us to prioritize and be intentional about our time with him. This is not a distant God that wants us to worship him from afar. This is a God who wants to be in our personal space, who is looking for intimacy. Now the Bible does talk about knowing, the way a husband knows a wife, the way Abraham knew Sarah, the way Adam knew Eve. It is intimacy. There's a level of intimacy there. That is not just they're sitting across from each other and having a very casual conversation. It includes a warm embrace. It includes us basking in the presence of God where there is fullness of joy. It includes us wanting to, not because there is a duty to worship or a duty to seek his face or a duty to bask in his presence, but because we want to, because we yearn to. David says, "As the deer pants after the water brook, so pants my soul after thee, O God." That is a man after God's own heart, because he was going after God's very heart. And he expressed himself time and time again when his soul was thirsty and as he yearned for God. That's the kind of yearning and longing as a beloved of God. And as we seek God as our beloved, we should seek to yearn for God like that, that we should want to be in his presence, that we should want to know him because we love him. Thanks, friends.